The Warsaw International Mechanism is important because it focuses our attention on those climate impacts that are most immediate. And those are losses and damages in the most vulnerable countries. In WFP, we have responded to a number of climate disasters in 2019. There were the big storms that hit Mozambique, Kenneth and Idai. Then there was Hurricane Dorian hitting the Caribbean. We had unusually strong monsoon floods in Bangladesh, a big drought in the dry corridor of Central America. So all these events create losses and damages. And these losses and damages are very immediate. So no matter how well you adapt or how much you try to mitigate climate change, these happen every year, and we see a trend that these disasters are worsening. The number of extreme climate events has more than doubled since the early 1990s. So we see more and more people in need of humanitarian assistance after these disasters. So the discussion about loss and damage is very, very important for us because it also puts into focus the very immediate effects of climate change and for the countries and the people that experience it. Well, the discussion about climate finance, when you look at it from the humanitarian angle, then we see that after big climate disasters, not all humanitarian needs can be met with the available finance. So on average, if WFP comes out with a humanitarian appeal after a big catastrophic storm event or drought event, then on average 60% of that appeal are funded and 40% of that appeal are unfunded, which means that now 40% of the humanitarian response is not covered. So there are, I think, three ways on how we can address this financing gap. The first one is to establish a financial mechanism that really tackles these humanitarian needs. We see more and more of these needs, and we see the gap between the humanitarian demand and the financing available opening. A second approach is to crowd in private sector financing, for example, through insurance mechanisms. It can be microinsurance at the level of smallholder households. It can be macro insurance, like sovereign insurance schemes that governments use to protect against catastrophic events. And the third solution that we see, and that is probably most relevant for us at this point in time, is to anticipate disasters before they happen and have pre-positioned finance that we can trigger in order to undertake preventive action. We call this forecast-based finance, an anticipatory action. And in a study that we have undertaken in Nepal, we have seen that $1 invested in forecast-based finance saves us up to $3 in humanitarian response. This is also a way to close the humanitarian financing gap.